Hey everybody, Adam Savage in my cave, and you're wondering why my shop chair is here in the middle of the cave floor. It's because we're going to do some exploration. I recently did a video, here. I recently shot a video about this chair, and we were looking through its cushions for some random things that were in here and found some cool stuff. There's a link to that video in the description. The reason I'm sitting in it again, the reason I'm sitting in my club chair again on the floor is because in the comments of that video, I got a couple of suggestions. And one of them was, take a borescope into the chair and take a look inside, and you might find a maker's mark on some of the big slats that make this up. You might find a manufacturer's brand or something. Secondly, after researching a lot of American-made club chairs from the 20s and 30s, I don't think this is American. American club chairs so many times. And again, I am far from an expert in chairs of the 20th century, but after about an hour of Googling, I've determined that American chairs often had a crown here, and that it was the French chairs of the turn of the century up to the 20s that had this very unadorned style. Very, very simple lines and these flat spots. So I believe this chair is French in manufacture, but we're going to find out because I got a borescope. I've had a few borescopes in my time, and it is a consumer item that has gotten less and less expensive over time. Back when I was first borescope curious, which is like 30 years ago, is the first time I learned about a borescope or an endoscope, which is basically a camera at the end of a long wire. They were much lower resolution, but recently our friends at Fluke reached out to me and asked me if I wanted to play with some of their toys. And I said yes. And specifically, I wanted to play with one of their borescopes, and there's a couple other things that will show up in videos later on, but let me just tell you about my history with Fluke for a second. Hold on. In the early 90s, I was a young maker, and materials were the most expensive thing for me. And this is standard for anybody at the beginning of their career. There's this inversion that happens. And at the very beginning of your career, the thing you have the most of is time. You can give away your time. And because you don't have skills yet, time can actually replace skill. If you take long enough, you can make a really nice guitar. And the amount of time it would take a regular luthier, the time to make like 20 guitars. And yours might be as good. It just took 20 times longer, which means it's not a profitable enterprise. But this is how we get good at stuff. We trade our time for skill until our skill replaces the amount of time we're going to take. And so at the beginning of your career, time is the most abundant thing. And at the latter part of your career, time is the least abundant. At the beginning of your career, materials are the most expensive thing. At the end towards the latter part of your career, materials are the least expensive of your line items. It's a funny inversion. But so in the early 90s, materials were expensive for me. And I got my materials from several sources. The San Francisco Unified School District has a donation center where if you are a company with a whole bunch of extra lab glass or metal rods or wooden chunks or fur scraps, you could donate it to the San Francisco Unified School District, and they would distribute it to teachers and teachers' aides and artists through their program called SCRAP, S-C-R-A-P, and I think it stands... Can't remember what the acronym is for. SCRAP. We'll include a link to them in the description. I have been going to SCRAP for 35 years. They've been in multiple locations since I've been going there. And I used to buy a lot of my art materials there. I also used to dumpster dive a fair bit. Dumpster diving was fantastic in the 90s in San Francisco, where we had a lot of different industries doing a lot of innovation, and their dumpsters were full of some good aluminum and copper and boxes and chunks and stuff. Dumpster diving in the Bay Area in the 90s was great. One of the other places I got my materials was a swap meet called the Foothill College Ham Radio Electronics Swap Meet, which was right off of Moody Road. And it was like it was one Saturday every month. I think it was the third Saturday or second Saturday. And you had to get there at 5 a.m., 5:30 a.m. if you were going to get anything good. Because this is like your ultimate tech junkie hoarder garage sale, except I think it's plausible that the Foothill College Swap Meet supplied a lot of the early equipment for early innovators in the Valley. Like, I think that this is a seminally important moment in time, is the Foothill College Swap Meet. It is still happening. Right now it's over on the East Bay, and I've got it on my calendar, and I've been trying to get up the wherewithal to get up at 5 a.m. on a weekend day, and I haven't done it yet. But the Foothill College Swap Meet, I used to go there with my late friend Frank all the time. And it was a great community. It was a great place. I still have bearings in my bearing drawer from that swap meet. And you know what else I have from that swap meet? My first Fluke meter. Look at this, with this big dollop of CA glue down the front. Still turns on, still works. This is 35 years old, and it was probably 5 years old when I bought it. I remember learning about these. I remember coveting their beautiful yellow. I remember how simple. There are lots of other makers of great multimeters. It's a crowded market, and there are sort of options for whatever you desire. What I always loved about Fluke was that the interface did not mystify me right off the bat. A lot of meters that I have used over the years, when you look at them, you're like, and Fluke has just prized simplicity, voltage, amps, continuity. I remember saving up for this. I remember putting like a couple $100 in cash, which was a lot of money in the early 90s, into my pocket, hoping that I could find one of these and some other stuff. And I think I paid like $80 for this. And I paid something like that. It was a good deal v retail. And I felt super grown up having a Fluke meter. And since then, I have always prized their stuff. I love yellow. Yellow is one of my all-time favorite colors. And like I said, I spent a lot of my time angry about UX, about interfaces with machines and equipment. And I have never had that feeling about our friends at Fluke. And right, so this came in the mail. The lovely yellow. They're sans serif type. By the way, this video has been made possible with help from our friends at Fluke. I would be remiss if I did not tell you that. We have here their model DS703 FC diagnostic video scope. It's got a USB interface with some extra support around it. So I don't know if any USB camera will work, including this amazing little one, which is like, oh, dude. So we are going to apply Fluke's equipment on this chair and see what we can learn about it. That's today's video. Those early pieces of equipment, I'd love to hear your stories in the comments. Those early pieces of equipment that sort of felt like a maturation, I'd love to hear your stories of those. All right, let's see here. I'm going to get this going on a wider frame, shall we say. I'm going to start with the biggest camera. I'm going to start with the fattest one. This one has a light. It looks to be about 3/8 of an inch in diameter. Pop that in here. Very clear system for plugging in. Go. And by the way, I get to be the one to do this. off. Okay, here we go. Clapping, and we are now going to take a trip to the inside of my French club chair. All right, let's see here. I'm going to put this here. Excellent. Oh, right. I don't need the cushion in here. That's silly. Hang on. Okay. Oh, sorry about that. We're going to do the same thing here again. That to there. And we'll get this going on here. Oh. Oh. Okay. All right, good. Now I've got a little room to explore. By the way, the Fluke borescope, videoscope, has an always up feature you can choose, which will try and right side the picture for you. Frankly, having used a whole bunch of videoscopes and borescopes and inoscopes, this is a killer app. I'm very happy about that. So here we go. We're going in. Oh, dun, dun, dun. All right, let's go. Let's go deep. Ooh. Oh. All right, so I see what I think I'm looking at is the outer, oh wow. So I think this is the outer edge of the fabric. I can see the sewn leather there. We're just gonna start to go. Oh my gosh, this is like Wild Kingdom stuff. I love this. Okay, so we can start to see some of the structure. You see some of that jute webbing. Oh, wow. Okay, so let's go in and see if I can't. All right, so we're just going to go up into the, I'm going to try and go up. Okay, so I think now what I'm looking at is the underside, oh, come on, of the chair's arm. I am, okay. Okay, that's the underside of the chair's arm. And I don't see any mark there. Okay, we're gonna go over to the other side. I don't think that is yielding anything interesting, so I'm gonna try and come up through the bottom. Let's see. Oh, okay, wait. Oh. All right, let's just look down this bar. This is the rear slat of the chair. Oh, this is so cool. Oh, come on. All right, I'm just going to try and get to where we can see something, and then I'll pause. Oh, there's my hand. Haha. All right. Okay, so one thing I can tell you is that this thing has been restored. It has been restored. It has been taken apart and put back together a bit. This bottom is new, and there's a bunch of upholstery foam in the base, so and in the arms. So I believe this was refurbished by the folks that I bought it to, which is totally understandable. I really want to get up in there, so I'm going to poke a hole. Broke out my hole poker. Go. There's that hole. Oh. Oh, no, gotta go deeper. Oh, there you go. Okay. Let's try that. Oh, okay. I'm not finding anything useful in here, but I am really loving these close-up shots. It really is like Wild Kingdom in there. I mean, it's like the secret life of machines. Wow. Let me try going through again. Look at some of these places here. All right, now I'm looking up through the back of the chair. Look at that metalwork. Wow. Come on. Look at that. That's a piece of steel wrapped around another piece of steel. That was done while it was hot. That's pretty cool. All right. Coming up through. No, I reached another barrier of webbing. There we go. Is that a dead spider? I think that's a dead spider. Oh, dead spider. Ow, ow, ow. All right. I see the beams. I'm looking at the beams and I'm just not seeing. Woo! Hey, spider. I'm just not seeing any kind of manufacturer's mark at all. However, this really makes me want to inspect some other things. What can I look at? Oh, let's go look underneath the workbench. We're going to look underneath my workbench here. Oh, I'm actually going to continue to bring up that. Okay, turning the light off is really good for this kind of inspection. Actually, oh, there's that pin. Clearly, I don't sweep up enough. Oh, there's a Sharpie. Oh my goodness. So I know where to put this. Oh, hold on just a second. I just want to take a look inside the spindle of my lathe. So let's do it. Woohoo! Oh. Oh, all right. There's some swarf in the spindle of my lathe. That makes sense since I was lathing yesterday and I haven't really cleaned it out. Amazing. Oh, I know where else we could take a look. Oh, wait. Yes. So, I'm having a lot of fun with this borescope. I loved looking inside the chair. I was thinking about other things that I could do with it. And when I learned that this this specific camera, a slightly fatter one, like a 1/4 inch end, has both a front-facing camera and a side-facing camera. That's the side-facing camera. Hello. And I started thinking that the side-facing camera might be incredible for looking at an architectural model. You don't know this, but I have, or maybe you know this, I've built architectural models of all the houses I've lived in. And it's always been a way for me to kind of wrap my head around a space and understand it. But there's this magical thing you could do with an architectural model of a space, which is you can take pictures inside the architectural model and they will perfectly match reality. Which I know sounds like, of course they will. You built something that matches reality when you take a picture and it's going to match reality, but there is still something magical. And you could do this as a project any given weekend you wanted to. Go ahead and measure out the kitchen of the house you live in. Make it in 24th scale. That means 1/2 inch to a foot in scale. And then go take a picture in it and it'll match a full-size picture of the full-size space. And I personally find that kind of thrilling. So I've broken out the architectural model of my childhood home. And I'm going to, so I had this really specific issue, which was I needed to find, this is a hat. I needed to find a picture from my childhood from inside the house. And I don't have many, or I don't have many that feature a room or you can see the room of the house. So it turned out there was one picture I had. Hold on. This is a picture of my shop. It's my first shop. It is the shop I built in my parents' house when I moved back home in 1988, give or take. This is in the basement, and keep an eye on this workbench because you're about to see it again. All right, let's get this shot going. Dude. This isn't the whole house, actually. That's the whole house. Oh my God, there's so much going on. Yeah, my parents bought this beautiful house in Hudson Valley when I was a child. So that's the top floor. It's not the top floor we're looking for. It's not the second floor. It's not even the first floor. No. The basement, is here. And so I'm going to try and get the camera angle from the, let's see here, from the top of the stairs, looking down. Oh, dude. See, that's really given me vibes of remembering this room, and I'm going to, I want to match this shot, which was taken. I'm going to turn this upside down, and we're going to flip this video. Oh yeah, like that. Ha! There we go. All right, from about head height. And there it is. Oh, wow. Yes, yes, yes. It's like, okay, come on. Walking down the stairs. Oh, wow. There is so much, like, I just remember there it is. There she blows. Yep. Oh man, coming down from the kitchen. And then I would take breaks from working at the workbench and I would go in and play pool in the billiard room. Oh yeah, ladies and germs. This was my haunt. Oh yeah. What? Okay, so after spending about an hour sticking cameras inside this chair, I cannot find any kind of maker's stamp or mark or handwriting whatsoever. And I've been able to sort of see many of the beams inside here. Not all of them. There's a lot of jute in the way, but a funner toy. Here, I can stop recording now. We don't need to keep recording. A funner toy is hard to find than a borescope, an endoscope, a videoscope. The idea that this can go into places and inspect them is thrilling. Yeah. I've spent my whole life like peeking behind the curtains and like desiring to peek behind the curtains and understand how things work. And this is just like one of those absolutely ideal kind of machines for doing that, for peeling behind the curtain where other machines might not let you see. That's what this does. Thank you guys for joining me. Thanks, Fluke, for the awesome toy. It's not a toy. It's not a toy. Thank you, Fluke, for the awesome tool. I will add it to my roster of Fluke awesome. And I will see you guys next time. Oh, also, if you have suggestions for good things to look at with one of these, real good suggestions, put them in the comments.